We're going to be doing a reading here on Judge Goodstein. Her house blew up. She was out taking a walk. She lives in South Carolina, and she kind of lives on a remote island area. And her husband, her son, and another family member have been injured. Several broken bones. Her husband had to be airlifted. But they say no foul play suspected. I don't believe it. She just so happened to be the one that ruled against Trump and has not been Trump friendly. So I'm just going to try to do a very quick reading on Judge Goodstein and just see if I can get it, if this is just an accident, unfortunately, or was this something that, despite what they're saying, could this be something that was set up? Let's just see what kind of cards we get and take a look. So I'm just going to give this a really good shuffle. So we're looking at Judge Goodstein, South Carolina. I mean, her house is like demolished. They had to jump. Her family members that were there had to jump from the second story. And I think that's where they incurred the broken bones. She credited her husband for helping to get the other family members to get out because of smoke inhalation. That's what's going to kill you first. So horrible. Let's just see what we get. Is this an act, a criminal act, or was this an accident? So I'm asking the Holy Spirit and my spiritual mentors to help me to read accurately and clearly. Was Judge Goodstein's home exploding an accident? Or is it the sneaky work of someone that is trying to bring harm to her? Now, apparently, before the explosion, she had been getting several death threats. So let's just see what we get. Judge Goodstein. Was her home exploded on purpose? All right. I want to give them a really good shuffle. I read in pairs, so let's see what we get. Well, I get the cards of Trump right there with the King of Wands, the King of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving card in the deck. It's to do with money and things of value. It's to do with land. Okay, so here's what the history between her and Trump is. In September of this year, she, Diane Goodstein, Judge Diane Goodstein, temporarily blocked the state's election commission from releasing its voter files to the U.S. Department of Justice, which was operating under an executive order from Trump. He wanted personal data from over 3 million registered voters in South Carolina to prevent quote unquote non-citizens from registering to vote. Not like they do that. The justification for the judge doing what she did, she ruled it because providing this data could harm voters' privacy. I wouldn't want him to have it, or anyone. The ruling drew criticism, and Goodstein reportedly received death threats. The outcome? The South Carolina Supreme Court later overturned her decision. Okay. And then come to today, well, actually on the 4th, her home was destroyed. It says a fire, but her house exploded and the cause is under investigation. But the state's chief justice said the fire appeared to be caused by an explosion. The incident has raised concerns about threats to judges. All right. And so it's petty. This is what Trump would do. He's such an angry, nasty individual. It wouldn't surprise me. And it's not surprising that we're getting the personal information of people here, the data, and her not this bit of information. And he was wanting to spy. He was wanting to look into that data, but it's not his to do. He wasn't going to use that information. Um, Look at this. So I think absolutely a petty act with the reversed fool and the ace of cups on his part. And it's dangerous. And he's doesn't care about that it could hurt members of her family, innocent people, just because he's having a temper tantrum and personal revenge. We get temperance and the devil. So, yes, I think that there is so much corruption that this too, the incident of her home, is part of this corruption, that it's connected to it and it needs to be balanced because it's extreme. There's this extreme oppressive response. And I think at the end of the day, with this card, this out of control behavior that is so negative and dangerous and wanting to completely control other people and abuse data and information and blow up judges' houses and things like this, all alleged here. Um, I feel like it's showing me that he is behind this and that he's going to have at some point these extremes that he's abuse of power that is going to be corrected. It's going to have, it's naturally, the universe is going to shift gears. The sun, there is clarity. And this is defensive, that she needs to defend herself, protect herself, have more security than she probably does. And I think she will from now on. So she's going to be, I think, proactive in this case now of being more on the defense because of standing up to him. He's not, despite the fact that he got his way, just the fact that she told him no, he has to poop his pants about it. Yes, again, we're talking about learning how to self moderate and not be a bully, an ogre. And she was trying to bring him to heel, bring his extremism under control by simply saying, no, I just, at this time, that is, you don't need to have that information, the voters' information. That's illegal. And there's the bullying. And his bullying, by the way, shows up as something that is, and I sure hope so, going to be brought under control. It's out of control. He is using raw power and violence to intimidate and harm people and bring suffering and make them feel vulnerable. We have an energy here that's going to take this nonsense, this petty pants, to task and be corrected. And I'm like, when? When is that going to happen? I keep seeing it, but I hope it does. This was manipulated. This is a setup. This is something someone manifested. And there was communications. That is highlighted too here with the magician. She was receiving the death threats, and I think somebody used what tools they had in their toolbox to do what they did. And I'm getting the reverse card here of what would be independent wealth or money, somebody acting independently. So somebody not getting what they want is why this happened. That's Trump with the Nine of Pentacles. Yes. With the Nine of Wands, we see much more defensive, proactive action being taken. A boundary, I think, definitely concerning her security and home security as well. People were injured, so we do have that being shown here. They've endured an attack. And I get that I feel like there's more than one person involved, and they're happy about it. They're celebrating. Possibly three people or three key people. Somebody that's she's just wanting to heal, to have order and stability and calm. And this is just immaturity. There's somebody's taking this like it's a joke. These little surprises. I think they're going to continue to pester her with things. And she's just going to be wanting to be left alone and having some peace. Okay. It's so interesting that in asking whether or not this was a setup, and we get Trump's thing there, Trump's card, his activity, his wants, his stubbornness with that Knight of Pentacles as well. He's not changing his mind. You're going to do what he wants, and you saying no is just giving him he's put you on his bad list to attack. So I definitely think he's behind it. Page of Wands and being overwhelmed. I think these are actions, activities. These can be phone calls, texts, electronic information, and just being overwhelmed and stressed. Draining. I think he's definitely draining her with this. Here we have the Hierophant and the Page of Pentacles. To me, this is faith. These are also rules. And I feel like, maybe she's turning toward prayer more. I don't know what her belief system is, but this definitely feels like some spiritual support and advice for, I think, protecting home, family, herself. She's going to need to, I think, be trained or something because I think this is going to continue. Unfortunately, I do see her continuing to get threats. And here we have secrets, and it deals with bonds between people, friends. So I'm thinking this is someone that supports the D, the little D, that is doing his dirty work and keeping it secret. We get death and walking away. There's going to be an ending where one is going to have to walk away and move on and leave the past alone. I think also that it's possible with that high priestess in Two of Cups that she may, because it comes with this Hierophant, she may have someone powerful in her corner that's quiet, um, confidant, you know, and we're looking at things that can cause passing, like blowing up someone's house. And she might leave. This could be her feeling like she's had enough of this and leaving. Let's see what else we get with the Death card and the Seven of Cups, Eight of Cups, I'm sorry. I hope that it is Trump walking away from doing any more stuff like this because he would not be around, if you know what I mean. I'm hoping that happens to stop him from carrying out any more egregious attacks. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay, now I'm getting the star. She's in the spotlight, and there is hope for her. I think this is learning new things. And looking over details. So I think learning some new things that she can do, new things that she's going to have to do because she's in the spotlight to protect herself will give her hope. Okay. And further into the future, we see again some sort of it would be a knee-jerk reaction, something fast moving, and it could be overseas. I'm not sure what that's about, but it could also just be into the future. Something's going to change. There's something that is going to come in very swiftly. Let's see what we get. We get winning a challenge, being seen as a winner, being recognized, and there's a change. There's that shift I was sensing with the Wheel of Fortune, and it's karmic. I really think Trump is about ready to enter a highly karmic part of his timeline, where now some of these things that he's doing aren't, it's just not going to be the same where he can just do it carte blanche. I think that there's a change coming, and it could be his passing. There's just something here that's a huge change from being able to act out. And I feel like that's her recognition of coming through this. And it's a new cycle, a new time to move forward. Because she'll be moving and all of that for sure, because she doesn't have a house there anymore. Here is the dishonesty. This is theft. This is the card of doing things you shouldn't while you don't think anyone can see you, being sneaky, doing illegal things. Oh, followed with the Knight of Cups, where you look kind of innocent in what your approach is, but your intention is sneaky. It could have been someone that acted like they were, I don't know, maybe like a gardener or uh, I don't know, somebody that should be in the area for cable, or you know what I'm talking about, or like, the electricity, the lines or something. I feel like someone could have taken on the air of someone that you wouldn't be suspicious of, but that is approaching, coming forward with their intention. And initially you don't find it suspicious, but this second card means, oh, what's in that cup is sneakiness and dishonesty, somebody trying to do something and get away with it. It's not the judge. We do have a male here, and a fiery king of wands, maybe somebody that's been versed in explosives, who knows their way around that sort of thing. Somebody that has that speciality, I think, is involved in setting this up. Yeah, look at that. They have a special skill with the Eight of Pentacles. They're very good at it. Could be some kind of fixer or someone that, you know, has studied how to create that kind of danger. And especially with the fact that it's a king of wands, a king of fire, no less. So I feel like this is somebody that is familiar with explosives and is pretty well educated and trained with them. So maybe whoever I see this man as being is someone that has gone special training, maybe kind of like a little black op type of person. We get the Ace of Swords, there's clarity, and it is paired with the Queen and the Empress. You know, I think it's going to be clear to her what this is about, that he wants absolute power and abundance, and he doesn't think well of women, let alone judges. She's not going to be under any misunderstanding. I think she's going to know that this is not anything other than foul play. I mean, chances are, yes, of course, it could have been an accident, but I'm not getting cards that show me an accident. I'm getting cards that show me somebody was sneaking around her property, trying to look non suspicious, and is responsible for setting things up somehow, even if they know how to set it up so it looks like an explosion. I don't like saying things like that, but this is what I see happening. There's a great deal of stress for her. I'm so sorry to see that. A lack of sleep, there's anxiety, there could even be nightmares, there's trauma from this. And it's because the family home, it's an attack on the family home. Now her family is being attacked. Their home has been obliterated. And you notice that we don't see or hear of any of these male judges being, attacked in this manner. I think it's very telling. And I don't buy for a minute. I find it highly suspicious that her place blew up, especially after she was getting threats, death threats, and it's just too much like that whole movement of people, they're very insidious. And I see insidiousness. Now, in time, I feel like there's going to be more um, details that come out, more that is released to the public. And again, this is an ending. This kind of stuff is significant in ending him. He's just going too far. The cards show that. And I see him an end. There being an end. And it's coming. It's on the way. It's in sight. And I got that message not too long ago. So that's repeating again. We have the moon. He's going to do more things like this where it's a cover up. Oh, we didn't do that, but yet this person's getting death threats, and chances are, Occam's razor. So we have the moon and it's paired with justice. I think he could end up, and she is a judge. Um, I think she knows that this is a cover up, that this is something that is not being revealed for what it is. But I think she's bound and determined to get to the truth of it. I just hope she doesn't get too scared off. This is asking for or just receiving help from other people that are concerned. Um, Maybe also this can be sometimes information, doing that judge a favor, looking in, on the quiet into more details. I think she's got, yes, looking into things. There we are with our looker, the Page of Swords, who looks into details and takes notice. It's surveillance. She might end up having someone watch her, um, to see if anyone is caught on camera or, you know, seen doing stuff. I really feel like that is extra set of eyes on her and her home, her family, and some help in finding out who would likely do this that is connected to the regime. It's a choice, right? And he wants absolute. His legacy. He can't be having her mess that up. But he's not seeing here the bigger picture, and that is that he attacked a family, a whole family. And I feel like her whole family here, plus her partner, are going to extend out their, I think, ability and their connections to expose him. And I feel like that, especially because these cards are coming real close to the card of help. And like receipts, details, could be pictures, video. Maybe they'll see someone that's trying to, um, you know, affect her home and send her stuff. I think they're going to be looking into seeing if they can't use the information to suss out who it is, to pull the string and find out who's on the other end. Yes. So we have the Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. This is keeping safe, keeping also stable. Keeping control, feeling like she has control. I think more after she has had the help from others looking into things for her and getting back to her. And she's going to have people more than one help her. Now here we have the emperor, the authority. We have again a card of Trump, and there is loss. He's going to have loss, and but also she's had loss. Everything's not been destroyed, but I mean, like three, I think of her, and no kidding, there's three cups turned over here. Three of her family were injured, and I think that's what is affecting her here. And not everything is ruined, but she's having a moment to come to terms with that. And I think she knows who this is, who's behind this with the authority card. It could also be how her husband, concern for her husband, and of course, other family members. So the emperor could be that as well. A lot about the family, wanting her family to be able to thrive and be free and not having to constantly looking over the shoulder, and her children, especially. We're looking also at the past. So I feel like she's going to be reflecting on her family's safety. It breaks her heart that members of her family were harmed, especially her husband, son, and I'm sorry, I don't know who the other person may have been, but definitely. And there is the release of the pain that this causes, the worry, the anxiety with the Ten of Swords and moving forward. I think she's gonna have a moment, where she's got to kind of deal with her feelings, understandably. And then I see her motivated as all heck to move forward and by motivation and determination and by will to overcome. I think she's going to face off with him. I do. Oh, look, that's my card for her. That Queen of Swords. When I think of someone like a woman judge, I think the Queen of Swords. And she's going to be all right. She is going to be okay. She's going to move forward out of this choppy water, but only after she also takes an initiative, um, I think, to fight back and get information about who's behind this. And she may not, of course, be able to come out with that, but I see her doing it. This is juggling details and information. And she's got a plan. She's not, I don't see her just like giving up. I think, she's going to go through her feelings, and then I see her working on a plan and meeting certain goals step by step. And not only for her family's safety, but I think in dealing with him, getting him back, so to speak. Um, I think she realizes that he has no feelings. He doesn't care. He's indifferent. So there's no way to appeal to decency or like that's my family. He does not care. There's a lack of care. And I think she might also be feeling so overwhelmed. She could feel actually numb, disassociative, can't be true, shocked. That can also be connected to that card. It's coming to a crossroads where people have to change the way they respond to him because it's not deterring him really. So this is our thinking outside the box. There's other ways to resolve this, but you have to take action. You can't be afraid and just not do anything. And this has reached a point of you have to address it in some way. We have a quickening here with poor health, finances maybe going down, feeling out in the cold. This could be when Trump starts, um, because his polling is getting worse. But there's something quickening that I think ahead yet that is going to put him further in the toilet where support is concerned. He's causing too much suffering and betraying people, the populace, and we have a King of Cups. Ooh, I'm getting the heart energy again. A man that's not well. The heart energy. Walking. Walking is it's like he's got to do a lot of walking maybe, and it's difficult for him. The heart, I think he feels tired. And I feel like with this cups, like it's circulation, it's the blood flow. Hmm. I'm just gonna freelance this, whatever. We do get that there is going to be a monumental, huge change coming where awareness and awakening is concerned. And, you know, people have to change their behavior, especially from the ego, where this was all done out of pettiness and pride and kind of like, I'm going to get you. But it's like, it's insane. So I think eventually this will be called out for what it is. Yeah, look at that. Literally, explosion here and people falling from a upper story, the tower, and it's paired. They need to look at this from another point of view. They should not just assume that it was an accident. They need to look at this from a different perspective, really fine tooth comb it, and take their time because this is not what it appears. It is not just an accident. It is not. The cards are saying, look at this from a different way. It didn't just randomly happen. I hope it doesn't happen to any more people. The Knight of Wands, this is, yeah, look, and it's showing us that the people involved in this explosion bringing, I get three again. So there's a team, a small team of people, I feel, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, that are responsible for this. And I feel like we're going to see fighting, more violence out of Trump and his people. This is like Miller to me, um, because they don't, they want to trap people and they want people to be stuck. But if people switch up the game on them and surprise them with some of their tactics, I think that would put them in a much better position. All right, let's just see. I'm going to use the governance oracle just to see what it says. All right. Will they ever be able to prove that Trump and or his admin or supporters are behind this? Because once again, she was receiving death threats. It's not for nothing. Will this get exposed as linking back to Trump? And it sounds like a mafia thing to do. And Trump acts like a mob boss, so will they get proof that they can share to expose him? And I hope they do it. I'm really fed up with the nonsense in this world. Knowledge withheld. Ah, I think they have suspicions, or they will. And we're getting it paired with lacking control. Gee, who can't control themselves? Who in the other reading kept getting cards about self control, self regulation? Trump. Peace treaty, successful outcome. And facade of goodwill. I think he feels like he's gotten her where she's got to surrender with that. I don't think, oh, she feels peaceful. I think this is his plans worked out, and we have the facade of goodwill. He'll probably say, oh, poor thing. Maybe she shouldn't be so mean, or what. You know how he does. He always blames a victim. Selfish agenda, facade of goodwill, selfish agenda. It's him. Military control could have been somebody that has military training. And we get communist country. Well, it could be somebody that's Russian, but it also is could be like the tactics that he's borrowing Putin's tactics of using military against your own people. Probably who he got the idea from. Internal adversary. It's him. And of course, that's how he's seeing her. But as I said, there are shifting dynamics that are going to change. See the butterfly? And right now, we're still kind of in the cocoon. Judgmental scrutiny. So I do think they are going to look over these details. And there is a power shift. May not work out so well for him. Problems going on with economic challenges. Not sustainable for him to continue how he's doing things. Ah, the blame game. Okay, that's going to be so helpful. Negative impacts. It's just going to make him look more guilty if he tries to say, well, I wouldn't do that. Bullshit. We're looking at foreign threats. Maybe he's wanting to point it to somebody else. I don't know why. And balancing priorities. We need to be we shouldn't have to worry about him doing things in our own country. We should be able to balance priorities and look at the foreign threats to our country, but we're so caught up in all the mess he's making. I get yes. So this is an answer yes, that it would be discovered that he's connected and targeted attack. So I think eventually it's going to come out. We keep getting elements of the trade war and foreign stuff. I don't know if he's going to try and like throw a red herring or something in it with those details. Um, good intentions. Oh, yes, the dodging the question. They're just going to do their usual. And pursuit of control. It's totally him. Open negotiations, stepping down. I do believe eventually shifting alliances. I think he's going to lose support. And he'll be looking for support assistance. That's the very next card I get, support assistance, because he's losing support. The more that people are going to be harmed by the cuts to healthcare and things like this, the more his support will drop. And he's going to try to deliberately obscure things, but probably not doing that great of a job. There's going to be mounting tension. So I'm sure a temper tantrum will be on the way. Borders and deportation. So he's going to be going and bound by allegiance unless you or allegiance to me, I'm going to deport you. I think he's going to try, and we already know he's trying to do that. Unless you're a Trump supporter, I'm going to deport you. But I think he's going to have people coming together because we have united front and we have concede defeat. I don't, it's going to become less and less popular with what he's doing. And I think he is not going to continue to be successful. Oh, succession plan. I'm sure they would like to get their little moron Vance in there. We have housing and infrastructure, isolated outcast. Yeah, that sounds about right. Working on a solution. See, but the thing is that Vance does not have the cult of personality that Trump has. None of them do. And when he's gone, I'm sure people will go to find others, but I don't think they're going to find the same because he's not there. And it's kind of a unique devotion. I don't think they're going to transfer that affection onto others the same way. I don't. And as the things start hurting more MAGA and they start waking up and realizing, hey, the GOP did this and Trump did this. Global impact, interim placeholder. So there might be an interim like Vance for a little while or something, and then I think gone. I think that there's could be something with again that could happen with Trump that this isn't the first time I've gotten indication that he may not finish the full thing, and there might be someone that comes like it would be Vance to be the interim president. Market volatility, I bet there would be. Because I do. I think that there's something yet coming for Trump himself, health wise. Shadow operation, market volatility. Then they're going to start trying to play games with Wall Street again, probably so they can earn money and rip off the rest of the people. Providing intervention, difficult decision. Maybe the Democrats are going to actually do something. There's refusal here, and they want an improved situation. They reject him. Wow. They want something better. People want something better. He will not be. And there's a covert corruption. No kidding. But it's reversing course. It's not going to be working. And I really think because once he's out of the picture, nobody's going to be willing to do that for Vance. There's the same energy just is not there. I get domestic priority, relentless determination, policy overhaul, health regulation. I feel like people are going to be demanding that you take care of America. There's problems with our health system. People, they've cut. This is going to be when once people wake up and realize they don't have the coverage and they need to overhaul that policy again. People are going to be very upset and could take to the streets. bottomless money pit and misleading headlines. So there's going to be more fake news. Um, and I feel that they're just greedy. They're going to be not telling the truth, giving disinformation to try to keep people stupid. But I still get strained relations and tyrannical leadership. It doesn't look good for tyrannical leadership. The the bonds within that regime are going to be strained. Liberation prevails from empty promises. So I think eventually, yes, we'll get rid of them, but we're going to need the power of persuasion and people being true to their word, showing transparency, voice of the people, and external influence. We're the ones that need to flex and use our power and hold them to account and push their button, push their buttons, make them stop us from peacefully demanding that they stop destroying our health care and ruining our economy and so on and so forth. I see that coming. So it's interesting. Just the energy itself shows that Trump has a downfall coming. And boy, does he. And so do the GOP. Um, they're not going to have the ability to keep power. And people are not going to like what Vance is doing. They're not going to cotton to him. They're not going to like him. They're not going to stick to him. Okay. I think eventually, probably after he's 6 feet under, they'll admit that he had connection to this because it is really one rule for the people that are in government, no matter what party. And you know, when they get in trouble for things, when they get caught, they do not receive the same harsh sentences that we do. And they keep that all tight. So let's just see once more. So is Trump going to be exposed for this? I mean, people already know using their common sense, but let's just see. See if I can get confirmation. Working on a solution. I think someone's working on this to try and resolve who is behind it. Unwavering stance, selling secrets, power of persuasion. Well, definitely trying to cover things up. And this secret, someone's being paid off. So whoever that I think was set up to do this was paid and persuaded to do this. We get stepping down and crypto uncertainty. Hmm. Who is going to step down from that? Would it be one of that morons that he's got in charge of Treasury? We have classified information. I wonder what he's selling of our classified information. I definitely, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, believe that he is doing that. Fall from grace, classified information, fall from grace. it's gonna, yeah, come out against him. Trusted advisor and judgmental scrutiny. Yes, someone is going to look over and link it up. And we see a lot of determination, but they might have some disappointing results. It might be hard to prove. Covert corruption, energy management. I think people trying to keep it covered up. But the voice of the people keeps coming back against this corruption, and they're using intimidation tactics. So they're going to be pushing us around, and we have to push back. At some point, we have to push back in a way that will really affect them. And I see successful outcome and lacking control. I see bribery as well again. So I think he's definitely got people in there that he's bribed and given whatever it was that they would have wanted to do something like this, whatever was their price. So I think eventually one day it comes out. They are going to definitely take this thing and look very, very, some people are very, very closely. And for my liking, this deep dive shows me with the repeated readings that he indeed is connected. He indeed is connected and up to no good. This was no accident. So I'll leave it right there. If you appreciate readings like this, please do give me a thumbs up. My channel's kind of struggling a bit, kind of not moving forward. Um, YouTube does that. So anyway, thank you so much, and make sure that you take a break from the politics and forget about them for a while. That's what I'm going to go do now. I'm going to go play The Sims. I'll see you later. Take care.